Sigmund Freud was an Australian neurologist and the founder of psychoanalysis, was born on May 6, 1856 and died on September 23, 1939 at the age of 83. Come, let's talk about his quotes that will change your life. Just as no one can be forced into belief, so no one can be forced into unbelief. The intention that man should be happy is not in the plan of creation. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. I cannot think of any need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. Experience teaches us that the world is not a nursery. When making a decision of minor importance, I have always found it advantageous to consider all the pros and cons. Life, as we find it, is too hard for us. It brings us too many pains, disappointments and impossible tasks. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. Words are capable of arousing the strongest emotions and prompting all men's actions. Religion is a system of wishful illusions together with a disavowal of reality. Words have a magical power. They can bring either the greatest happiness or deepest despair. A woman should soften but not weaken a man. It is impossible to escape the impression that people commonly use false standards of measurement. Everywhere I go I find a poet has been there before me. In the depths of my heart, I can't help being convinced that my dear fellow men, with a few exceptions, are worthless. The ego is not master in its own house. One might compare the relation of the ego to the id with that between a rider and his horse. In mourning, it is the world which has become poor and empty. In melancholia, it is the ego itself. The ego refuses to be distressed by the provocations of reality, to let itself be compelled to suffer. Children are completely egoistic. They feel their needs intensely and strive ruthlessly to satisfy them. We are what we are because we have been what we have been. The ideas so far produced are insufficient for the interpretation of the dream. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. When inspiration does not come to me, I go halfway to meet it. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Dream disfigurement, then, turns out in reality to be an act of the censor. The virtuous man contents himself with dreaming that which the wicked man does in actual life. It is easy to see that the ego is that part of the id which has been modified by the direct influence of the external world. Everyone has wishes which he would not like to tell to others, which he does not want to admit even to himself. Dreams may be thus stated: they are concealed realizations of repressed desires. The dream is a sort of substitution for those emotional and intellectual trains of thought. Before you diagnose yourself with depression or low self-esteem, make sure that you're not surrounded by fools. Immorality, no less than morality, has at all times found support in religion. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Whoever loves becomes humble. Those who love have, so to speak, pawned a part of their narcissism. In the small matters trust the mind, in the large ones the heart. Friendship is an art of keeping distance, while love is an art of intimacy. Men are more moral than they think and far more immoral than they can imagine. Religion is an illusion, and it derives its strength from the fact that it falls in with our instinctual desires. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. We choose not randomly each other. We meet only those who already exist in our subconscious. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. I have found little that is good about human beings on the whole. The mind is like an iceberg, it floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. Flowers are restful to look at. They have neither emotions nor conflicts. The first human who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. The goal of all life is death.